Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. All right. Well, looks like I'm live. For those who are watching, this is last time we did a live stream. We did it a totally new way, and we had some performance problems. Trying to see if we can address those today. So I'm sure a few of you will join in here shortly. We will probably not archive these, but I'm going to do a quick playthrough session, trying to do the new user experience again, and I will be taking notes and answering questions. I'm talking to no one. No one is watching. I'll just stare at the camera until someone joins in. I guess I could mention it on Discord. All alone. All right then, go into the hat. All right, looks like somebody finally joined in. No pork rinds today. Just doing a stream test here. It looked like it did. It looked like it just stuck. Saw myself on my other screen freeze up, trying to determine what's going on. See about the stream quality here. Again, just doing a new playthrough, and I'll probably answer some questions as I go along, because that's what I do. I got a notepad over here I can pop up and write stuff down as needed. See if I can do that. Bam! Notepad. I'll be taking notes so you guys can see what I'm doing. Adjust my camera? Never. Maybe. I can zoom it out a little bit. But then you see the edges of my my screen there. I guess life will go on. Oh, geez. Seeing the secrets behind my setup in here. Looks like it just hung over there. I'm going to see if this is actually, yep, now it's unstuck. Now I got to watch to see if it adjusts over here. Yep, so it froze. So there's something going on where my OBS is freezing up on me temporarily. Not sure what that is. I may have to go dig into the log or something. I'll dig into that another time after today, but yeah, you guys will just have to deal with the freezing, occasional freezing up. Again, I'm not sure what is up with that. All right. Let's see. For those of you early people joining, this is, let me get up and shut the door. This is the at-home version of the streaming stuff. And I got the Shroud poster behind me here, you can see. See, oh, I'm frozen up. There we go. Proud of the Avatar, same thing we always have. But this is now in my little home headquarters thing here, which has a lot of the the stuff from the office in it. Here we go. Let's see. Right there. Anybody need a computer? Like there's a tabula rasa box. Got a few extra computers. Got a computer back there. Got a little junk over here, like 100 hard drives or something. Let's see if it catches up. Great. Yeah. Piles and piles. That whole box is full of hard drives. What do you do with 1 terabyte platter-based hard drive? Seriously. We talked about having a contest where we would take them all out into a field and see how far we could throw them as one of our bonuses for the company. I do need to. So this is because we are work at home now. I mean, I'm planning on making this a multiple times a week. I'll get on just do these streams, and I do plan on starting to do giveaways because this is also where I'll be shipping boxes from once I finish getting set up. And I'll have the shipping stuff right here, and so I'll be able to do giveaways and basically ship them off to you right then. But anyways, getting a little closer here to actually doing something. I'll take the hard drives apart. Yeah, Maxine's already got some magnets. Maxine is not home yet. Her mom has to pick her up now because I work from home. And it is 3:39. I just, for the record, I am wearing pants, although I'm wearing like gym short type stuff here. Secret stream. I'm not sure why we don't do more streams. We've got lots of options for streaming. Oh, and also down here is a little piece of history. You can also see my super ghetto desk here with junk on it. Look right down there. Who is it? It's Dippy Bird. I'll probably set him up soon. Once again, I gotta adjust my camera. Oh, and the software froze up again. Come on, OBS. You can do better than that. The thing that is really confusing again is that this is the same computer we use for the live streams at work. That I just brought that home and it's here now. The only things I did though was I did update OBS software because it was way out of date, and I did update my AMD driver. Yes, I'm using an AMD video card. Why? Because they're cheap and they do pretty well. Anyways, I'm going to jump into making a new guy here. And you guys can ask questions. Making a new avatar. What good names have you guys not taken? What about Bilbo? Are you kidding me? Come on, people. You can do better than that. Nobody's taking Bilbo? Uh-oh. This is normally part where we'd hide the screen because we get a lot of errors that only show up in the dev version when we log in. We can't fix them. They're a well-known problem in Unity that deals with how it handles some shader magic that goes on, where it falsely believes that a texture is smaller than 4x4. This is one I've been complaining about forever as I get ready to go ahead and turn on my notepad here. Camera still starts in trees for new characters. Yeah, that's the one I've complained about. I think it may actually only be if you've played the game before that there's something that it remembers the camera position, that it's a local thing, not a character login. But you're like, here's where I start off, like, hello tree. Basically starts your camera in the tree every time. It does, you either get that effect or you get popping or bad stuff. I didn't say anything about no cheats. If you're wanting me to play with no cheats, you may be on the wrong stream. I am going to try to pay attention to real player stuff, though. Let me make that a little better. Here we go. It's a little better. Be better still. We'll see. Well, looks like I can go a little smaller on the font, probably. How about 14? Is that legible? frustrating to see. That's a good lag. All right, that's good. Don't harass Bilbo. I see people about me in universe chat. Let's see, more things I've raved about or ranted about for years. Our low polygon pots here that have lived on forever. We at least fixed or improved the VFX in them. I always hate that, like, the first thing we show you is, hey, check out these low polygon rocks. That's what you should expect from our game. Avatar. Oh, I probably shouldn't be in God mode as a new player, huh? And if you want to make sure I see a question, make sure and like do something like start it with like all caps question colon blah blah blah, and I'll try to get to it. I'll try to see it. Oh, is the artifact bow dropping yet for the Envy Angel? That is a good question, and one of the tests I'm doing right now. Let me go check and see how that actually works. Again, this is a test stream. It's going to be kind of clunky here. One of the tests I'm doing is we have a VPN stuff thing that we do. I'm trying to make sure we aren't streaming over our VPN, because that would obviously cause some problems. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going over the VPN. That's not nearly enough data rate to make it over the VPN. But I am on the VPN. I guess I could actually look. Hold on one second. This is going to take two things. First, I got to pull up unit. Oh, what? Why'd you time out? Timed out on me. The starting quest guy should not start out time out on you. Hold on, looking for the Envy bow. Let's try that. Oop. It's wrong. Envy. And I'm only checking this because it's also, I've heard a lot of people talk about it. And let's see. Got it. So if I search for hold on, still working on it. Hang in there. Don't leave me. Pulling up Kibana so I can go and search if this thing exists. Job, people. Looking at metrics from today. You guys are using the Crown Store. You know what that means. It's time to turn off that Crown Store buff. Or pay to win buff. Hold on, let me tell people on Universal. All right, let's see. Checking for it, almost there. Oh, it's so close. Aha. Uh-huh. All right, I have a confirmation here that in the last 7 days, a total of 0 bows have dropped. I think we might already have a bug for that that says to verify. I will make sure that exists, though. Will the Death Bunny have new art this year? The answer to that is probably no. We talked about changing some things on them, but I haven't done that yet, but I've got a little while to do that, obviously. I will be checking into what I can do to sexy up the bunny. I think he'll be that same low polygon bunny that we always have, because it's a Monty Python thing, and it's supposed to be a joke. So the Death Bunny will still have the crappy art. But I'll see if there's some other things I can do to make him a little sexier. How was my meeting today? We actually did the team meeting, our first team meeting, yesterday afternoon, because we had, again, one of the reasons I called out for why us moving to office is awesome and progressive, and, you know, reduces the cost to the employees, reduces the cost to the company, also increases employee retention. And these are stats and metrics that you can actually go find lots of places on the web. Is why do people do it. But one of the things is we want to give our employees flexibility in what they do. Burning Toad is actually about to go to China for, I think, 3 weeks. So he's going to be in China for like 2.5 weeks, and I think he's going to go to Japan for like part of a week, and then come back. But we moved the meeting up because he was going to be busy today trying to do some last minute stuff before he left. But yeah, meeting went great. We had offsite. The place I use is a data center. Also, because we already pay them some money, they let us use a conference room for free. So we had a nice conference room. It was actually a good meeting. Came up with a lot of ideas, some of which I could talk to you guys about. Let me think about what things I can talk to you about scaring people. Let's see. Stretch everything. Oh, here's the better part. Hey, Mojito, come here, bud. I'm just going to take the camera off one more time. Oops. Did I pull it? Let's see. Nope, I think it's still good. Oh, maybe I did pull it. No. Nope. Let's see. Hold on. Maybe I killed it. I was going to show puppies. What happened to my camera? Hold on. I think you guys can still hear me here because I'm on the other microphone. See what happened to my thing. Oh, this is actually a test I probably should be doing, which is I should be testing whether this USB extender is actually a problem. Pardon me while I unplug and replug. Did it come back yet? Nope. Hold on, I'm going to have to try another thing here. Oops. Hold on, primary webcam. Stupid webcam. Okay, we'll see if that fixes the hitching. The thing I was going to show people is right down there. Here's the other benefit of working from home. Look at that dog. Smile for us, Mojito. He sleeps right by me in that little bed all day long. I can just reach down and pet my puppy dog whenever I want to. Oh, now my camera's messed up again. You can see all the ghetto trash behind me. Oh, it's horrible. Hold on. Do the thing and do the thing. Silly webcam. All right, you guys are just going to have to see the ghetto behind me here, I think. Again, you guys were not expecting a professional stream here, right? Do. Oh, I know what I'll do here. I'll just leave the webcam alone. Again, figuring this stuff out as I go along here. Properties, I bet I can pull those sides in. That's not it. Transform. Edit transform. Got it. I'm going to be so good at this stuff soon. What happens if I do like 400? Whoops. 600. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with this camera freaking out every now and then. There we go. What do you guys think about that? I think that's better. Now I can zoom in my face if you don't want to see me, but you know. All right, let me look at questions and then I'll get back to actually playing the game. Let's see. Hey Atos, all cloaks. I tried except worn common cloak. There being a thin airstream gap over the neck area on courage armor. Is it possible for this to be fixed in the future? Yeah, cloaks, of course, any cloth stuff in Unity has always been horrible. To be kind about it. We can improve those things. We can improve that type of stuff. We can improve how it fits with armor, but yeah, I mean, having low expectations for cloaks is probably a good idea. There we go. Yeah, I think I got it. Perfect. Let's see. Yeah, I'll make notes of that on, that was the courage armor. Gap between cloaks and courage armor. Neck. All right, hold on. Catching up. Yeah, I think it's all cloaks are like that. Scammer GG, we are using OBS to stream. We're actually using the same setup we had before, like down to it's actually the PC we had at the office that I brought home and set up here at home. I've got gigabit, I've got Google Fiber. Don't be too jealous. I've never seen it go below like 800 megabits a second. I actually just turned off my torrent server that I'd seeded torrents for the game, and it was doing somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 megabytes a second, like 250 megabits a second. But that doesn't seem to be the problem. The problem actually seems is every now and then the actual OBS software, like it freezes up for about 5 seconds. Then you guys see that. When I watch on the Twitch stream, I can actually see it. So when I'm seeing it freeze up over there, it just froze up. So you'll now see me like freeze up. You're not going to see my hands. Like you'll see me freeze up. Right there it goes. It just froze up on my screen. And it's actually the game is freezing up too. So it's something in OBS are actually freezing up. So I'm not sure it's fine. The stream's fine until it freezes up, and then it freezes up for about 5 seconds. But that is actually OBS freezing up, not the stream or the data rate to Twitch. So now I got to go investigate OBS after this and figure out what's up and see if there's some error being logged or something. Sheldon Cooper says, I use XSplit. Yeah, I hear a lot of old guys do that. Let's see. Yeah, cloth is better than it used to be, but again, it's one of those things in any system. Cloth is heavily dependent upon how much performance you want to give it. And people in game want lots of cloth, wants cloaks and shrouds and everything else. So we've got it down now, so it does less penetration, but yeah, there's still some problems with it. Sales 101. It sounds like you should be referring this question to yourself. Can you tell us what is going on with the collector's box? Send a support ticket to make sure mine wasn't lost in the mail. Not sure what to do. So let me give some updates on that. So we had a CS department. I think most people saw that Sarah left us to go join the Star Citizen guys. Absolutely fine with that. And she deserved it. She was hired in, for those who didn't know, she was way overqualified for her job. In case it wasn't obvious that she was way too qualified to be a CS person. Not just because of her bubbly personality, but because she actually college degree in multiple languages and a good background, and she was working a CS job. So we actually kind of expected that, and we're all happy for that. That was fine. Shortly after that, though, Rick Chaox, the person who was her manager and now in charge of the CS stuff, seriously injured his back. It's actually an injury he's had before. I actually worked with him at NCSoft when he hurt it the first time. He had to have surgery on it. So he's been out of commission, and it's one of those things where backs suck because you can't even like sit up like you think, well, just do it from home or whatever, because we're all working from home now. But he can't even sit up for more than maybe an hour or two without severe pain. So we went without a CS department, kind of in the wait and see what happens with Rick for a little too long. Then we started looking for CS people. We actually have now. That was actually one of the challenges, and one of the things we almost ended up like not going office free was then how do we train up a CS person? There's crazy amounts of stuff to know, and like they always are having to talk to an engineer or somebody who knows the history of the project. And fortunately, Wizard Smoke's wife was available and has also done some CS stuff. So she is doing our CS now. So she is working through the tickets on those things. We will get caught up on those. We do expect to add some more CS people in the not too distant future. May have some exciting news to talk to people about sometime in the next couple months on that. But we should be able to get some more CS people in here to help out with that as well. But I think she's catching up. And in terms of shipping the boxes, that was also on Rick and Sarah. Just before Christmas, I jumped in and worked with Sarah and push, and we shipped 700 of the, I think it's 900 and something that had to be shipped. So we shipped, even after the original shipments went out, there were about 1,000 shipments that couldn't be made. 900 something shipments couldn't be made. And we shipped 700 of those. There's about 300 left. Many of those are waiting on a signature from Richard on stuff because Rick didn't get that last time he was down. So we still need to go get that part. But anyways, if you're wondering where the boxes are, they're actually behind this banner. You're not going to be able to see them very well, but I can't scoot that way. I'll hit the dog. They're back there. Here, Oh. There you go. So those are the only remaining boxes. Again, this is out of thousands and thousands and thousands. All of the remaining boxes fit in my room. So there's a few of them I could send now, and I'm going to start doing that. But again, part of the problem is I need information from Chaos because he did all the planning for those, and he's got all the lists and knows what has been shipped and has all sorts of stuff. So I'm waiting for some information from him, but I'll actually start shipping some of the ones that don't require anything shortly. I hope it didn't show any fat rolls there. Oh, you can see a little fat there from under the shirt. But he'll be sending me some information, and I should be able to start shipping some of the remaining ones soon. The very unfortunate thing is I think the guys who got screwed over the most and are going to have to wait the longest, again, just on the ones that were missed, were the guys who had the bigger pledges because it has more stuff from Richard signed that Richard missed in his first round that we need to get that stuff signed. Let's see. I got to go back and catch up on questions. I'm never going to get to play. You guys are asking too many questions. But this is good. I'm getting to answer lots of questions. Also, some of these answers may be more honest or not as well thought out as we do on the stream, just because I'm not prepared for any of this stuff and I didn't get anything. But I think that's the honest answer on when things will start shipping. The remainder of the things will start shipping. And again, we're talking less than 5% of the total boxes left to ship. So if you're in that crowd, congratulations for being such a lucky person to get shafted as hard as you did. But I'm also, another thing that I'm going to be doing, since I'm going to be doing the shipping, is I'm probably going to be throwing in some extra artifacts for you guys as a I'm sorry, we suck mode or move. But hopefully I can start shipping some more of those out here in the very near future. Also, the other thing is once we get all the information, my hope is to invite the entire team over to my house and have a barbecue followed by a shipping party where we just get together and I just set up 3 card tables back to back to back and we just all go through and work and ship and print and get a bunch done at once. So you can look forward to that. All that stuff is the first time that's been talked about. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Right-click properties. Okay. I'm learning. Look, I cropped it. I got my head on there. Pretty good, right? Kind of in the middle. Right over the shroud guy. 86 people. Oh, you guys are going to be disappointed. This is really, I'm answering questions and stuff like that. This is not a prepared stream. I'm going to start doing some live streaming stuff though, so I'm trying to get all that figured out. And my current task for those who missed it is to figure out why OBS started freezing up for about 5 seconds at a time, about once every minute or two. Speaking of Richard, we haven't heard from him in a while. I have. I'm not sure what you're expecting to hear. Some of this is just. When was the last he was on? Was he on the last stream? Oh no, he wasn't on the last stream. He was on the last telethon stream. But he's checking in case you're wondering, if you're worried, like, oh, what happened to the daily stand-up? We still do daily stand-ups from home, of course. But the stand-ups we have now, we have a stand-up channel. We all get together and we're either on Google Hangouts or we're just putting it into our chat program. I say Slack, but we actually use Mattermost, which is a kind of a free Slack version because I'm a cheap bastard. And I had some extra server CPU, so I set up Mattermost. We use Mattermost on our team. But let's see, Richard, what was Richard today? Oh, but I'm doing the stand-up, and I'm supposed to be posting the stand-up notes daily, and I just haven't had time because I've got some crazy stuff going on, as you might expect. Richard said yesterday, in-game events, today general business. Yeah, it was at the dance party yesterday. Not sure why you think you haven't seen him recently. Let's see. Player bought Baron Pledge account. Need to buy episode 2. You do not need to buy episode 2. Feel free to do it if you want to and give us another $19, whatever it is. But no, you don't. You don't need to buy episode 2. It might not even let you. Is there a way to subscribe to the channel? Yeah, just hit the follow up at the top. I think that'll subscribe you, right? Again, you guys, all the people on channel know more about Twitch than I do. So, let's see. Yeah, Spry One said he was at the dance party. I was going to say, I was at the dance party, for those who are wondering. People always yell at me for, 1, wearing a horrible outfit, and then 2, not dancing. I was at the dance party profiling. We've got a few things came out of that, but even with, I think the highest I saw was 120 people, pretty much all right in the same little crowded space. Performance was good, not great. Wasn't quite 30 on my machine, but again, I'm not using a stellar machine. I've got like an AMD card. I think it's an AMD 480 is the card I use, in case you're wondering. You see me stream here, which is higher end, kind of the mid range for AMD, kind of on par with, I think it's a little bit below a 1060, somewhere between a 1050 and 1060. Chris, will you come to the Dragonmere event on Sunday? Is that the pirate event? I do plan, there's a pirate event. Oh, Sunday at 10. Yeah, there's a pirate event. Maybe that's the one that's pirate. Maybe the pirate event is right after that. I was planning on going to the pirate PvP event. But I have not confirmed. Maxine's actual birthday is coming up on the like weekend after next, and I'm trying to get her to Sherwood Forest Fair, which is kind of a Renaissance festival that's just outside of Austin. And hold on, let me trying to build habits here. There we go. I don't have to think about this stuff. I can just do it while I'm talking instead of doing what I'm doing now, which is stop and think about it for a long time. But Maxine's actual birthday is coming up. I'm gonna take her to the local Renaissance festival because she loves them, which is awesome. And then we're also gonna have lunch with one set of parents. But I'm pretty sure we will be able to make it, or I will be able to make it this Sunday. And take her the next Saturday, I think is when it's going to happen. Did you want to meet me at Sherwood Forest? Yes, pirate event. Yes, yeah, I do plan on being at the pirate event. Right now, I don't know of anything. I've got a Longhorns basketball game on Saturday at 11, but Sunday I think I'm clear right now. And yeah, Lance 87, Lancel 87. That's kind of the idea. Is I'm at home. I mean, I play the game anyways, but when I was at the office, I couldn't really stream because I couldn't talk without disturbing people. It's kind of one of those pros and cons of the open office we had was, everybody's right together and very in touch with everybody right around them. But honestly, to keep from disturbing people, 95% of the time, we just use the chat program anyways. And also, then it's whatever we talk about is searchable, and you can find references to it later if you need to for an answer. So I didn't really feel comfortable streaming at the office. Let's see. Let me catch up on questions again. So many questions. When is episode 2 coming out? The Vooch asked, when is episode 2 coming out? Episode 2 is out now. Okay, that's not true. But for those, that's the other one I'm going to do. Someone should start keeping a count on every time I say as a public speaker. I should be better at that. We started beeping. We started beeping Richard and Star anytime they would say the word during a talk, trying to train them not to. And it actually seemed to work pretty quick. So I'm going to try to concentrate on that myself so I can be a better public speaker and streamer. Booch. When is episode 2 coming out? You've seen how episode 1 was developed. We did have a date where we finally said, I guess we're going to call this release. There's one. We just continue to work every month and add features. There's going to be some features that come on that are episode 2 features, but they'll mostly be accessible in episode 1. The part of episode 2 that you'll need to have episode 2 access to get to will be the actual maps and content that you can travel to over there. So going to the new continent will require episode 2. But we will be releasing features, just rolling them out as we go. Again, not trying to discourage you from buying episode 2, but we don't care if you do those two. We don't care if you do buy $20 worth of crowns or $20 of episode 2, kind of all the same to us. But episode 2, when the actual game gets a little closer, we'll probably actually up the price a little bit and keep it that way until we get to the point where we know for sure what episode 3 is, and then we'll probably remove the price at all. So it'll be early access prices now, I guess you can think about it. We'll go to full price, and we'll probably keep it at that for a year or something, and then we'll probably drop episode 2 to be free and start selling episode 2 to be free, and then we'll start selling episode 3. Again, all this stuff, I should put a big "Don't Lawyer Me Bro" over the sign. That's what I need to do. I need to make a don't lawyer me bro overlay. That's important stuff. Don't lawyer me bro overlay for streams. I'm gonna make these so good. You watch, like 2 months from now, these are gonna be amazing. So that's when episode 2 comes out. We'll probably, I think, the last time we talked about it, we said around end of year was a target for what we would call episode 2 launch. That may be optimistic because there's still so much discussion going on about scenes and scene planning and all that stuff that we haven't started the scenes. So we'll see. That was about 5 right there, by the way. 5 us. Also, in episode 2, there's some people freaked out. I talked on a radio show, and I may have mentioned it somewhere else. One of the things we're considering, I think a part of it is just like using the word wipe is what scares people. But at some point, it was said there would be an episode 2 soft wipe. So let me give some details on that. So one, that's not even remotely for sure. That's just something that's being thrown around to see what players think about it and how the temperatures are on it. And actually what that would mean was nobody gets wiped. What it means is when you're in episode 1, you're level 110, you got all your skills up, you got a billion experience points. When you move to the episode 2 continent, it does a kind of an Ultima theme, like you're Vaporous again. Basically, you're where I am right now in the game in front of you guys. You're Vaporous again, and you reform your character just like you did in every single Ultima, going from Ultima 1 to Ultima 2. And when you get into the game, you're level 1, but your experience from previous game carries over as rested experience, is what it effectively would be in most games, which means every time you earn an experience, you also get an extra experience point from what you earned in episode 1. So that would be the soft wipe. It's only when you're in the episode 2 lands. And again, still just something that we're kind of throwing around to see what people think about it. And also, you would still gain benefits from what you're doing there. And then what happens with the experience you earn there when you move back? Like this experience there transfer back in the same way. That is still to be determined as well. There's just lots. I mean, it's one of those things we're trying to come up. There's some balance issues in episode 1 that we're trying to make sure not repeat for episode 2. But the problem is if we have episode 1 and episode 2 be just like you walk through a gate and you're in episode 2 now, it doesn't matter what we do for episode 2 to fix some of those balance issues or changes that we would like to make. We can't keep episode 1 balance from carrying over to episode 2. There's always what other games do, and this is, I've had a couple players act like, oh, well, it's an easy problem. Here's the easy way to fix it, which is to do what most other games do, which is, if you look at like a WoW or an EverQuest or something like that, the next campaign comes out, expansion comes out or whatever, and they say, yeah, you get to keep yourself. You're at level 60. Oh, but by the way, the new level cap is now 70. Oh, and that gear you have, that's going to be crap. and the new place because you'll get better stuff killing rabbits in a field. So that's how they handle this. They basically, rather than soft wiping your character or something, they move the bar up so much that you are soft wipe, but it just doesn't feel like it because you start off again. But the stuff in the new place is like, hey, I can barely kill the stuff in the new place here. Yeah, that's what it was like when you were level 1 fighting level 1 creatures. The goal is to make it feel that way. Uh, but as we've seen, the thing we suck at sometimes is not the actual design and improving things and understanding things, but it's understanding the character psychology of things. So we're trying to pay attention to that very carefully, but it's one of those things we're trying to also not make the game worse just because some players are afraid of a thing. But we'll see how things go, see what percentage of people, how they feel about it. It'll give us the opportunity to like make scenes, each scene, now that we know so much about the game. I think we mentioned this sometime earlier in the Kickstarter. Well, I'm getting a lot of playing done, aren't I? Earlier in the, like, even back to the Kickstarter days, we were talking about how one of the things we've learned from, 25, 30 years of making experience is if it's a level-based game, save the important levels for last, because by the time you get to that point, your systems are in place, you've learned all your lessons, are going to be the best levels made. That is definitely shown to continue to be true for our game. But there's a lot of things like if we want to fix the balance for them, again, they can't carry from one to the other. So the difference, I mentioned the whole level 60 to level 70 like a WoW or an EverQuest, where that's how they do their soft wipe, and then they basically make your gear useless because you can find better stuff off of, peasants or whatever. Of course, the peasants are also tough enough, so they're hard to kill at 60. But the difference between those games and ours is we want to make sure, and we have made sure, that the game is you can be competitive really quick. We try not to make you grind endlessly. You don't have to. I know that lots of people do, but it's to get that last little percent. Within the first 40 hours, you can easily be, without crazy grinding or getting power level, you can easily be to a level where you can take on tier 5 stuff, which is kind of the mid-game stuff. By 200 hours, you can easily take on most tier 10, pretty much anything in the game. Will you continue to get tougher and tougher and tougher? Sure. But because we've made the power curve so flat in terms of it's quick to get there, that's kind of one of the things we've always wanted. We didn't want players to have to come in and spend 4,000 hours of grinding and gear collecting and grinding and gear collecting to get to just the right level. And then, I mean, the other thing that if you look at like a WoW or an EverQuest, if something's 5 levels above you, you have 0 chance. Actually, I think in WoW it's more like 3 levels above you. Things 3 levels above you, 0 chance. Things 3 levels below you, and they turn, they go gray, and you don't even get loot off of them or get experience from them. We let you gain experience. We let you gain loot. We let you, all those things that we do. But that's one of the side effects of that system. And a lot of people like that, so they don't feel like they have to grind. They can go play with their friends and still be effective, because that's what a lot of this is about. It's the big difference is if you want to go play, you've got your level 110 friend who told you, come to the game, man, we're going to go play. And he gets you in game and you're level 20. He's level 110. You can still travel around with him. You can actually do some help, stuff to help. You can sit with him and heal. Sure, you'll get slaughtered if you get aggro, but right away you can actually be effective. You can hit things, you can do damage, you can heal, you can buff, you can do all these other things. And that's one of those things, if we went to the, plus 3 levels, minus 3 levels is all the stuff you can do, then, well, 1, people would kill us, but also 2, we would be able to do that soft cap stuff that they do, where they go from level 60 to level 70 is the soft wipe, because basically level 60 is level 1 in those situations, and you're leveling up to get to 70, but really that's like level 10. So they do kind of do a soft wipe. So some of the things that we're talking about for episode 2 are some of the things we planned all along that we just didn't get to for episode 1, but we're going to have very much more thought out, less content, but better content. And some of the things that are going to be going into it is a lot of places will be set to scale and have dynamic spawning. based on character difficulty or character level. So that may be what we end up doing. That's honestly the more likely option. Is we continue to let characters progress, they move over, we create gear that is better, that's one notch better. There'll be like a whole other tier on the crafting tree that'll be, here's where you can go up to level up this gear. So that gear will be better than stuff made in the other games or in the episode 1. But then the scaling content will be one of the ways that we move the bar up for people so everybody has a play experience there. We're trying to make sure the content is very well thought out, very careful, very balanced. Again, it's just one of those, it's tough to think about balancing because when we think about it as doing it that way, where we just add the dynamic scalars and all that stuff, then we still have to look at, okay, now we've got to go back and rebalance a ton of the stuff in episode 1. And how many people like it when I go and touch content like in upper tiers or change the drop rate of something or change some aspect of creatures? Anybody? No one likes it. So that's another one of those things is we're left with the choice of, do we leave a bunch of broken content that makes it so people don't want to play in episode 2? That's one option. And we make episode 2 balanced and correct. Or do we take episode 2? Oh, the stream got really deep, considering I was just supposed to be doing a playthrough and making notes. Do we make episode 2 have balanced content and fix episode 1 content to be on the same gear balance level as it in terms of rewards, which will, of course, nerf all the, could nerf a lot of episode 1 content. And then option 3 is we leave episode 1 alone, maybe do a few balance tweaks, but then make episode 2 the soft wipe that I described. All right, now I'm so far behind on questions. But anyways, I could talk about this stuff for hours. Good news, I'm going to be talking about this stuff for hours over the next few months. Yeah, item transfers is one of those things we aren't sure what will happen with them. There's a number of things. I mean, there's all sorts of ideas we've talked about for how to handle items moving over. But that may be one of those things as well, that we just let your level 1, but you have the items that you had in the old world, and we just make sure, again, that everything's balanced. For a level 100 guy, like your gear can make the difference between you and a level 110 guy. Good gear planning, and again, that's a lot of that is what makes it we like, because it adds skill and effort to it, which is its gear planning. Just if you just go and craft out your plus 13 whatever because you got a high skill and you don't actually plan your skills for it and you don't plan it for the build you're doing, that's gonna suck. But if you're level 100 and you have the right gear and you know the right build, that can get you the difference to level 110. Where I'm going with that is if you're level 1 and you have that very same gear, that does not make you level 110. That makes you about level 5. So it's having the powerful gear at a low level is not nearly as big of a deal as it is when you have powerful gear at a high level. New skills only from episode 2 trainers would be an incentive to buy pre-release, and that is something that we've talked about doing. We probably will do. We are trying to not make it too much of a buy the game, buy episode 2, or you can't do anything fun and all your friends will be making fun of you. That'll probably be the first thing we put in episode 2 is a episode 2 taunt emote that's not teachable. So you can go and get your episode 2 taunt and taunt people who do not have it. But that is one of those things. Skills will probably be something. There'll be some episode 2 trainers, so you won't be able to get some of the new skills unless you have episode 2. And Brian Coat Jason, I was answering your question on the items and transferring and that type of stuff. And the goal would be, if we do let items transfer one way, we'll let them transfer the other way. That's another one of those things. Episode 2 people, if you go over and you know the episode 2 world, you'll probably be able to find items that may be a little more desirable in episode 1 because people can't get them there. Ehondis. I'll pronounce this differently. But put some epic hard Oh wait, Epic Bard. Yep. I thought I was going to talk about Epic Hard content. I was going to say I believe Travis. We were talking about some of these balance issues, the same kind of stuff I'm talking about here, and you know he was expressing some frustration because I think people who know that Travis plays more than anybody else on the team, probably more than everybody else on the team combined, if you count his time on his main and his alts, because he does like to play secret as well. Of course, you may not want me to tell. But anyways, he was talking about how he hates that there's no like there's wave spawn stuff, but there's never it ends and it's like okay that was nothing at all. I told him to fix that, and he's going to be making some wave spawners that actually basically just don't stop. Uh, I've had to create some content, some creature types. The control point creature versions are shared with the dungeon versions of things. So the stuff you get at control points is the same type of stuff you get at dungeons, where they're basically 2 tiers tougher, roughly, than the loot that they have. So I've created those guys that go all the way up, and I've got the liches. I think I've got them going up to 15 right now, but I'm going to add, there's going to be an 18, probably an 18 and a 20 after that as well in terms of tier. But he's planning on using that for 64 to add in our usual you can't beat this challenge difficulty encounter that you guys will probably beat immediately, and we'll have to go look and see what you did and fix whatever bug you took advantage of. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to catch up with questions. Hold on. Do-do-do. Reading, hold on. Also introduce many new races, like Half Elf, for episode 2. Yes, and we're hoping to get another character artist here in the not too terribly distant future. But again, I'll have more information on some of that stuff in in a future stream. Character artist being needed, obviously, for some half elf stuff. Damon, our main artist, our lead artist, is pretty overloaded, just trying to keep up with stretch goal stuff and his normal stuff. I think he's on release 61 stretch goal stuff right now. I saw he was doing like Dragon Sword or something. I think that's 61. I forget which one Dragons was. Anyways, we're trying to get him some help as well. And for anyone out there, since I've seen this set over and over again, if you can't afford an office, how could you afford to hire someone? Okay, we could afford an office. We chose not to have an office because it was a bad time, an inconvenient time. We didn't know what our future team size would be. We didn't like the current space, and we didn't have time to find a new space. We didn't want to immediately move again either, though, because it's so painful. So the thing we did is things that are painful in terms of moving the actual work stuff that people need. It is everybody basically picked up their own desk, took their own computer to their car, took their chair if they wanted it, took their monitors, went home. Like that was we could have moved all the actual stuff we need to work out of the office. We could have moved that out in like 30 minutes. The thing that takes days and weeks is having to move, well, all the junk that I showed in the room right here is there's tons and tons of stuff in there. And then also moving the servers is by far the most painful part. It's not just like turn off computers here and turn them on there. There's a lot of infrastructure stuff that has to get set up, and firewalls and all the security stuff and all the other things set up. That's the painful part for the moving that I never want to do again, because most of that also falls on me, and you guys want combat balance fixes and new dungeons and crap like that. You don't care about any of that stuff, and that was eating up that type of time. So the other thing that takes up time was there's more time spent just moving Ultimate Artifact type stuff and Richard stuff around. As much as players like seeing that was kind of a cost. makes our moves super painful because it's not just like with our computers and stuff. We were like throw them in the car. When you're talking about like an original Hildebrand that's 6 feet long, super fragile, 30 years old, and pretty much priceless. Like have to get a moving company in there that comes in and bubble wraps the whole thing and puts it into wooden boxes and stuff like that. So the plan is the Ultima artifact type stuff is going to be living with Richard down at his property. And so now if we want to move somewhere, we basically take our computers, our monitors, sit down at a desk, connect it to the internet, and we're done. We're in an office. We can literally move into an office in a day if it already has it. So anyways, we chose not to have an office is where I started with that. Also because of the stuff I've been talking about. Working from home, we wanted to at least give it a try. 7% of the people in America now work from home, or at least have the option to work from home full time. And many of the people on the team want to try it. There are a few people who didn't, though. I've actually already started looking for office space. I have a couple leads that we will probably have an optional office space that is a simpler, more basic office space. It's pretty much what I described. Tables, computers, monitors, and stuff like that. And in case you're wondering why, like now I'm like, oh, we're going to get office space. One of the things we're going to have to do for episode 2, as most people know, is we're going to have to build up the team a little bit. We've got our engineering staff hasn't changed in practically years in terms of the people on it. Our art team has changed quite a bit. We've scaled that down. Our system designer have not changed, but the content guys, the map makers are the guys that have changed. So we kept the ones that we knew were absolutely critical and the ones that could teach everybody else and knew all the rules and were badasses. And the rest we let go because we knew they were replaceable. So we need to get those guys, we need to get some of those type guys back in, train them up. And also, let me just say, the guys we had before that were also pretty awesome. We just couldn't afford to keep them over a long period when we didn't know what we were doing for episode 2 for sure. Not having good things for them to work on would not have been a good use. So an office space would be very helpful for training those guys up. So that's one of the reasons I'm looking right now. Well, one, we've got a couple people who've said they would prefer an office and not because they just want to be around people all the time. I'm sure that's some factor. But also because they have home environments where they do not have a good working space, which you can sort of translate as they have kids. And my kid should be home by now. Where's my kid? Uh-oh. Looks like my kid got home 13 minutes ago and didn't even come say hi to me. But anyway, so yes, we will have an office. The thing we probably will not have going forward is the big historical office full of Ultima artifacts and pictures and all sorts of stuff like that. It will also not have our massive server cluster because the thing I did this time that was one of the big surprises and what I ate up a ton of my time was I didn't ever want to move that again. I had to move that thing 3 or 4 times now, I forget. And it's a nightmare every time, and we all hold our breath. One time we actually, because we have one server that was so bad, we actually daisy-chained UPSs together, unplugged the last UPS from the wall, ran it to the car while it's still on the UPS, took it down the street, moved it to the new space, hooked it up, and plugged in the UPSs because we were so afraid of shutting it down. There's a lot of stressful stuff in it. One, getting rid of those junky machines, but also all the other stuff that goes on around it that has to be hooked up. So I don't have to do that again. So that's now been moved to the data center. We actually have in a secure data center that I forget what security level they call it. But it's behind a bunch of doors. It's actually kind of fun because it's actually a big glass tube. You have to do like a thumb or a fingerprint or a thumbprint, and then you have to type in a security code, and then it like opens up like Star Trek stuff. This glass tube, and you go and you stand in the glass tube, and then it shuts. And then there's another security pad in there you got to do. Kind of fun, actually. It was fun about the first 5 times. It's getting kind of tedious now, but it still looks cool. So for those, continuing on that same thing, apparently I have a lot to talk about. For those who are saying, I got a Lord of the Isle, I'm going to SodaCon, I was supposed to get a tour of the office. So if we have a Shroud office, when those happen, you'll get to tour that. If you don't have a Shroud, or if that doesn't happen, the thing we'll probably do is do a trip to Richard's property, which has like 10 times as much Ultima history as our office ever had anyways. It's got his theater there where they do all the Baron's Men play, for those who keep up with that stuff. It's a kind of a Shakespeare group. Not kind of a Shakespeare group, it is. They do Shakespeare plays there. They do all sorts of plays and concerts and stuff there. He's got the 10 little Ultima houses, that like the one for each Ultima, I believe, is what the rule is. He's got like the tree houses. He's got like a giant fort. He's got a pirate ship built on his property. I know the thing says you get a trip to the office. You would much rather go to Richard's property. He's got a trail that leads to a man-made tunnel that goes like 300 feet into the earth and then looks straight up a giant shaft that was built as a escape elevator route from the castle that he started building there before he got married, and he said that was a bad idea to build a castle. But anyways, that is a much more interesting place to go to. So players will be taking players there for any of those things that were come to the Portalarium office, and again, probably much more interesting. The other thing we'll do is, because part of coming to the office was also meeting the team, is when we have one of those things, if whatever group it is, we will invite the team, or we will have a team, like invite the team out to dinner afterwards, so you can also hang out with the team for a while. Because that's kind of the two things you got out of the office. You got the history, and then you got to meet people. Both are important. Wow, I'm so far behind on the questions. Let's see. What about scaling item stats by scene tier? Huh? That's from Arca. Yeah, we've talked about having having the caps on it. So like if you have like plus 13 gear and you're in a tier 3 scene, you only get like the plus, the first 3 pluses on it or whatever. That's kind of the same thing though. As soon as you take something away, or like put a level cap on something, because you guys all love that level cap that went in for like 1 day on these siege scenes, right? Right? You love it when we cap stuff. So anyways, that's an interesting idea though. It would be to scale it based on the scene. But yeah, again, that gets into it's part of the reason I do very minor balance adjustments, and it's taking me longer to move things overall. Part of it's because I've been crazy busy with server moves for the game, and then server moves for the office, and then office move. But also it's because I try to adjust things very slowly, because I don't want the backlash for let me adjust this, and now overshoot, and it's like, oh, well, I got to turn it back. As soon as I try to turn it back, you guys, call Richard and tell him to fire me stuff. That hasn't happened in a while. Which means you guys must like me now. Let's see. Continuing to read on here. Man, I'm behind too. Is there a minimum purchase for the stretch goals on the store, or does any purchase count? I forget what Star said. I had been saying that it would be a $10 minimum purchase, with the logic being that the $9 subscription then becomes the cheapest thing. The actual plan was there wouldn't be as much stuff on the store. I think there's still a few things on the store, though. I have actually not gone in the last week or so to see, but I think there's some cheap items on the store that you could actually do wacky stuff. Just buy the 10 Kodo package. Come on. Don't be cheap. NBNN news. I'm looking at you, Laz. We know you help the game so much. Don't worry. Don't let me bother you too much. Make sure and watch NBNN, by the way. OBS recommended stream speed is too high, I think. Stream can't keep up. So the actual stream when it's running, when I watch it here, it looks great frame rate, looks great everything. The problem I'm trying to solve right now is that I will try to solve after this is over, is there's an occasional freeze up. I don't know if it's happened. Oh, it looks like it might have just happened just now. but there's an occasional freeze up that's happening. Yeah, I just saw it happen in the stream. But I don't. That's not a stream. Like that's the whole OBS. Like the actual software just locks up because the screen on the actual software is locked up as well, and it's not just the camera and the game. It's both things are locking up. I'm gonna keep an eye on it now that I've got a scene movement on. Again, for those who got here late, since I'm now up to like 121, this is kind of a practice stream. I'm going to start streaming from home, but I'm also trying to work out kinks because we have our telethon. Back in my day, we did 24-hour telethons and drank the whole way through. But anyways, our 2-hour telethon on Friday, and I want to make sure things were solid for that. It looks like I had another hitch freeze. Let's see. Why the loot attenuation in patch 62? So the only thing I'm aware of for that was attenuated was there's basically only one person who's ever shown up on the radar for it, and he's the guy that's asked me a bunch of times about it. And I don't think it's the guy that just asked me there. There's actually some, I mean, we've been open about it all along, but there's some code in there to prevent exploits and cheats because we're a small team and we like to sleep. Well, some of us do. I have sleeping problems, as most people know, and I get up like at 4 o'clock in the morning or midnight and stay up all night or stay up all morning. But so we don't have like a 24/7 staffed CS team that's watching the game to make sure nothing horrible is going on or watching metrics like a big game like a WoW or most NC Soft games or stuff like that would have. So to deal with that, we have some caps on the server that watch for behavior that are way out of bounds for what we expect and start limiting things. So the thing I think what some people saw as attenuation, or at least one person has screamed about attenuation, which he's right, he was attenuated, was not actually attenuation. It was the server saying, this guy's doing something that he shouldn't be doing, and I need to stop him. So we're continuing to tune those. We'll see how it goes. But again, as I looked, and I looked in the last day or so, there's only one person who's been hit by it. Sorry. And I've talked to him, so. That one person is also the guy that's kind of our canary in the coal mine, find the problem areas. It's like, what's he doing today? Oh, look, he found the best place. Well, let's go adjust the balance on that because that obviously is broken, and if other players figure it out, it'll be a problem. And then 5 minutes later, he'll like, we fixed that one, and he's over at some new place. Oh, look, he found another thing. So we should probably like put him on staff or pay him something ourselves so he'll show us where all the things are. Liz Kimber, Atos, does that mean you guys might consider hiring people from further afield? Again, we have now been, this is my 4th day of working from home. I started Friday, and I've had several meetings and I had to make several runs around, so we're kind of waiting to see how the whole work from home thing goes first, to see how much we want to continue working from home or whether we just want to move back into an office. It was really a move of convenience. It was actually easier to let everybody go home for a while and figure out office space than try to figure out an office space and rush a move and do the same dumb thing we've done before multiple times. But yes, if we end up like everybody likes it, we end up working from home long term, then we probably will consider people from outside. It'll depend on the position. There's some positions where there really just needs to be so much interaction, like we almost have to have them in person and train them up. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely something, and we've mentioned that before. That's, as I said earlier, we've got someone in New York, we got someone in Barcelona, we're about to have someone in China for an extended period of time. So we will see. It's funny, he's been researching into all the China stuff, that he knows part of his trip, he's already warned us he's not going to be able to do any work because he can't VPN into the office. because I guess it's in like the northern section and with the Uyghurs and all that stuff. And that place people he's staying with, like they had a neighbor, their next door neighbor was a professor who tried to download a video for his class from the internet. He couldn't get there because the firewall. He used a VPN and hadn't even finished downloading the video, and the police were at his door and took him in for questioning. So he's already warned us he's not going to try to VPN from there. So we'll see what he can do. He should still be able to use all of our chat and be available voice and other stuff. But anyways, yes, further afield. Hopefully not as further afield as China, but just due to time zone issues, honestly. All right, let me get back to some more new questions. You need a taming artifact. I agree. Oh, I just heard that the message of the day still lists the dance party. I'll have to adjust that. Should list Chris Atos Spears streaming. Do. I'm catching up on questions. Sorry, I'm way behind on chat here. Reading. Reading again. Not enough RAM for OBS. I think I'm on 32. I think this box again was the stream box at the office. So. Yeah, it's. Oh, you know what? I just noticed my temps down here. I've got a CPU core temp thing on. Since I've started streaming, which of course means playing the game and running OBS, and I'm running Twitch over here, my CPU temperatures have been up around 70. I just saw 75 flash up there. That's kind of on the high end for CPU. Oh, there's a 77. So maybe it's possible, but I would think if it was a CPU temp thing, that the game would freeze up, like my computer would be freezing up. But I'll keep an eye on that too. But yeah, I've got, I'm running Unity right now. I've got 32 gigs, 21 in use, most of that going to the Unity editor that I have open right now. So I don't think it's memory. OBS freezing the video, yeah. Be very careful with intellectual property and snooping in China. Yeah, that's actually one of the things asked the person going over there to take the server code or take the client code. Don't take the server code with you on your machine that you're taking. The client code leaking out would not be the end of the world. The server code leaking out could be dangerous, and you may see hey, guess what? There's a new Shard of Shroud of the Avatar showing up in China. Let's see. Yeah, that's the other thing that we've heard horror stories on is people taking laptops and computers over. You should plan on your laptop having like its hard drive removed or having your hard drive, them forcing you to log into your laptop. Let's see. Switch all the GPU stuff. Switch off all the GPU stuff. Hey, now I'm getting some possible answers there. Thank you, Sean Butts. I will see about that. Yeah, the GPU I'm using, I already mentioned, is a 480 AMD 480, which is kind of a mid-tier card, and also an older mid-tier card. So you're talking probably 4-year-old mid-tier AMD. But again, part of that is because I try to play on. I'm assuming my audio is not coming out or cutting out when the video is locking up. So good guess that it could be a setting for not using the GPU for compression. Have to look into that. I'll add that to my list of stuff here, and I'll get that on make sure and check that next time. Disable GPU acceleration on OBS. Yeah, I guess the good news is Unity sucks at threading. So we've got plenty of extra CPU horsepower around for encoding. So if that is it, I will fix that. The thing I wasn't clear on was Minerva's asking if I'm actually going to make a character. I may not make a character today. I think Maxine is already here. I don't know why she hasn't come to see me yet. I'm going to text my wife. Send Maxine in. But yeah, I may not actually make a character. This may be as far as I get today with Bilbo. But I got the name Bilbo. I don't know why you guys haven't done it. Probably because you're afraid we would delete it because it's against our terms of service or whatever. I've asked for Maxine to be sent up. Let's see. Liz Kimber was asking, oh, my audio is perfect. Why, thank you. Perfect, except it has my voice on it. So everybody hates their voice, but I've had too many people say, you sound kind of like Kermit the Frog. Liz Kimber, Atos, have you guys considered looking into ECS? So I think that is the container crap from Amazon. I forget. Liz? I think Liz might be technical, so she may be talking about that type stuff. But no, we've actually, I mean, our servers are pretty solid and we've got them running the cheapest way possible. And that is also the long term. We want to make sure, if everybody on the team is hit by a bus or, something horrible happens, we want to make sure the servers can run forever and ever and ever. So we made sure everything that we do is the cheapest possible option to make sure that that is absolutely doable. Oh, she's talking about ECS, the new, the Unity, the compiler, the multi-threaded compiler stuff. We have looked at that. A lot of that requires major rewrites. The other reason why we've been a bit skeptical on moving more things to threads, well, one, there's not that many things we can move to thread. A lot of it is, it's not the time in our code that's the problem. It's the time we call a Unity function, then the Unity code is a problem. And until they get that stuff to be actual thread safe, it'll be tough. But the ECS stuff is something that we could move more code to, but the problem is rarely our logic. The problem that we usually have with Unity and the threading stuff is their scene management stuff is not good. We burn 10 milliseconds plus just basically with Unity figuring out what to render in a crowded town scene. There's a few things we could improve. With threading, but honestly, not that many. And then the other thing is, sure, Unity supports threading, but right now, our crash rate went up this release, and it looks like it's likely due to the streaming texture stuff we've added. Every crash we get is what appears to be a threaded racing condition in Unity that other people don't see because they're running smaller projects. Unity won't take our project and try to reproduce it to fix the crashing. So as much as we want to go and thread more stuff in Unity, the more we thread, the more we push against the possibly having more thread racing conditions and also having risking memory overwrites. When Unity, if people recall, about 2 years ago, Unity gave us the code briefly because we were having a crash and Unity wouldn't look at it, and they of course didn't believe that it was a crash in their code, but we weren't running native code for people who know what that means. So we knew it wasn't our code that was actually crashing. It had to be Unity, but they just wouldn't give it a serious look. And they gave us the code, and we tracked it down to being a thread racing condition inside of some of the rendering stuff. We know that stuff there's still other problems out there. They fixed that one, but there's other problems out there, and we can't get them to take a serious look at it. Because if you can't put it into a small repro project, I've turned on to the Unity rant again. But if Unity wants a small repro project to look at most things, and we've almost to the point of giving up submitting things to them. Because if you can't make a small repro project, they don't care. And I think I've mentioned before, I've gone as far as handing them an SSD drive, telling them to keep it, and it has the entire project on it. Oh, we have a special guest. Oh. Hey, look at that. Right up there. Right up there. You'll show up in a minute, Pumpkin. It has a delay. 4-year-olds are apparently not aware of the delay of the streaming stuff. Did you see it? And if you're going to be a good streamer, you got to look at the camera. Did you have fun at soccer today?
Uh-huh.
Oh, cool. All right. I got to get back to my stream. I'll be down to make you some dinner here in a little while. I don't know. Let's see. Max, waves, poof. You know what? I'm going to finish making my character and get out of the Isle of Storms before I quit here. It looks like I've caught up on my my questions there. And yes, that was my 4-year-old daughter, Maxine. And in case people ask or wonder, I think people know I put a lot of hours and passion into the project. Right there's the reason. All right, back to finding bugs. Guide you. First step is finish your manifestation. Okay. Oracle. Uh-oh, hold on. Important problem here. Gotta fix a bug. Dog was locked out of the room. Dog is now back in the room. You want to jump up in my lap, little dog? Come on. 1 second. Come on, buddy. Come on, neurotic dog. Jump up. Not going to work. Okay, dog, get in your bed. Come here. I'll pick you up. Get in your bed. There you go. Good dog. All right. Great stream, right? Mirror. So one of the things that came out of our meeting yesterday is we've got a few new ideas for how to automatically catch some of the broken quest stuff. For those who don't know the history of that, the quest system, by request of the person driving stuff, didn't name names, but I mean everybody knows there were only a couple people involved in that. The system was set up to be very simple because it was supposed to be a very simple quest line. Well, by the end of the project, it was not so simple and resulted in a system that was basically just a mishmash of a bunch of flags. And again, that's because by design, because when it started off, it was get it done as quick as possible, and don't worry, it's not going to be a very big quest line. Well, I think most people know that the quest line is large, and the number of steps in the quest is large, and the number of things that have to happen. So the result is a bunch, if you want to imagine a big quest system that's based on a bunch of global flags that you just have to know things. That doesn't mean much for most people, but it means that it is nearly impossible to debug some things. So one of the things we're going to be doing is there's a lot of quests in the game that are just broken, and everybody knows them. But we've got some new plans for tools through our metrics to catch what quests are broken, and we're going to start prioritizing the quests that are broken, and we will be, if there are things that can be fixed and we think we can get them bulletproof, we're going to be fixing them. If they feel like they're things that we can't get them bulletproof, we're going to remove the starting point for it. So those who have the quest can continue trying to finish it. Those who do not have the quest will not be able to start it. Because that's one of the things, again, as people saw with the Crown Store and a number of other changes, the thing we're trying to do right now is I still have not started an ad campaign. I'm supposed to start an ad campaign. I was actually supposed to push that today because I think we got the last big patch out for stuff except for the dungeon totem stuff. But we hate spending money. We've got some money to spend on ads, but we hate spending money on ads when we feel the game is could be much stickier, much better, have a much higher attach rate. And one of the things, probably the number one complaint of people if they get past the starting scene I'm in now, the number one reason people leave the game is due to the buggy quest stuff. There's nothing more frustrating than starting a quest and being like, because you don't know if, like, did I mess it up? Is the quest messed up? People don't know, and that's kind of the assumption is like, well, odds are it's got to be me who messed up. But again, there's enough buggy quests that people just can't do them. So we're going to go through and start removing quest starts, so you can't start some of the quests if they're problematic in their design, and then fixing the ones that we can fix until we can get to a point where it is actually fairly bug-free appearance in the quest for new players again. For existing players, you guys know the dirt's out there. I'm sorry. The dirt is out there. This is the other thing for those who haven't heard me talk about before either. Is it's depressing. My stream count numbers down. I'm down to 101. I was at 120 for a while there. People were disappointed. I got on there and were like, "That's not Star. Where's Richard?" And But anyways, the Quest System 2.0 stuff is being planned with the intention of how things are going to work correctly, so that all data can be verified, all quest steps can be verified. Built as a system from the ground up, planning for it to be used for an extensive quest. Let's see. And what's the other one? Oh, and the other thing for episode 2, we're building the quest system from day one with the plan of this can be something that a player can add to, which means we'll have some way that you can import/export through properly to XML. So you guys can build your own quest NPCs. Some of that may be, you guys will obviously be able to create some bugs, but we're going to work on making it as bulletproof and simple as possible for players, but flexible. But again, that's one of those things we hope to have by the end of the year, that we've already started talking it through, designing, but we haven't written the first chunks of code. We've written parts of the first chunks of code just because it's got tendrils. Quest systems have tendrils everywhere, so we started preparing for it. We just haven't finalized anything. Add an abandoned quest option that clears markers, journals, please. So that is one also that we've talked about, and it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other as to which let you abandon. Because again, we let you abandon something and it's actually a quest line or like the main quest line, and you abandon it, then one, it's very difficult because it's a mishmash of global flags set here and there and here and there and here and there and here and there, and those may be set along the way. It's very difficult to even tell what stuff was set along the way, because there's also variables, and not all the state is tracked. There's a lot of stuff that would have to be done to even get it to a point where we could cleanly clear quest lines for you. So you could clear it and try again. But we will, once we start getting this new stuff in, we will add a way that you can clear something. We need to, step one is, as I mentioned, we're going to try and pull some metrics from the game, look through what quest players have, and do some things like looking at how long have players had each quest. And if there's a quest hey, look, half the people have had this quest forever, it's probably busted, and that'll make the top of our list. There'll be a lot of quests that what percentage of people start the quest and finish the quest. And same thing for steps. Start a step and finish a step. Some of those are things that we can track down and identify, and those will help tell us which quests are broken. But yes, having a way to remove them, we want to get that in there. We're trying not to rush that, even though it's something we've talked about for a while, and we kind of would really like to have it for you guys, because we don't want to introduce other even tougher to debug problems because we don't have a good way to manage the all the different state stuff. Let's see. Why don't you guys fix the NPC dialogue UI? I'm not sure what they're talking about. It's tiny and ugly. Oh, I will refer you to the person who wants it tiny and ugly. He'll probably be on the live stream on Friday. He's that guy who doesn't play the game, the one who was at the dance party yesterday. That was actually the third or fourth revision, and some of that also has to do with we've got to handle multiple screen sizes. But yes, that's less of a hang up, I think, for most people. Let's see. Question. Is the quest system the reason I have to repeat things to the Oracle 3 or 4 times before she responds? Oh wow, I don't think I've heard that before. Hold on. Let me do the thing again. Whoops. Build Oracle or sell. Uh-oh, I see Travis in the stream now. Let's see. Get caught up again. Yeah, as far as the quest dialogue, you guys hating the way that looks. The person who was super attached to it isn't here anymore to protect a baby, so we can probably fix that. I think the person, Richard's the guy who actually kind of still likes it and thinks it's the right solution. I think most other people would rather see something else. But again, we've got to pick our battles and try and figure out if that's the battle to pick or not. Rufus, I was actually referring to Richard. Uh, Richard was the one who liked that, and again, I think he was sold on it by somebody else. And also, as I throw various people under the bus, like I just want to go on record as saying there's not a person that has been at Port in the past 2 to 3 years I would not work with again. Lots of great people. Some of the decisions that have been made on the project, I've actually started a book on shroud development. I'm not sure what I'll call it, but when I publish it, it'll be something like "How did we get here?" Type thing. Like, in not, I mean, it's nothing negative. It's really just talking about like there's a lot of these weird decisions, like that little box at the bottom of like a lot of people hate it. Well, how did we get here? And here's the steps that it went through to progress, and the design and the evolution and the decisions that were made that force it to be small. Like there's a lot of stuff that people just don't realize in terms of how design happens and how many things have to be factored in. It's easy when you're just looking at a single problem and saying, "I have a solution for that." It's like, well, yeah, but that's going to cause 97 other problems. Let's see. I love Star, Rufus. Never say anything bad about Star. Except they need to remove a little bit of that shine from his head at the Hangouts. That too much? Let's see. I think I'm caught up on stuff. All right, time to finish Bilbo. Try to remember how Bilbo's skin looked. Made myself as small as possible. Halflings weren't really pale, I don't think. Kind of more of a European uh, type olive skin, I think. Hair color. That's not halfling. That's definitely, nope, not a halfling. That's kind of halfling-ish. Oh, no, ponytail. 2 ponytails? Halfling bun? No. Right there, that looks like a halfling. I don't really think facial here. Do, do, do. Bump up a bunch of nose stuff here. I think halflings have big noses usually. Gotta have a big mouth so you can eat. Gonna slam a couple sliders out. There we go. And jaw. Oh yeah, here we go. We'll give him the lino. Lord Degothia, what is the average time from player submission to moderator approval for heraldry submission? It is much shorter if you poke me and tell me to go approve your thing. I am supposed to do that every few days. That was another thing that Sarah did that got handed off to Rick that I just took over, and I need to create a daily task for myself to go do it. But I'm going to go approve. And then also reminder to people, I went and approved them a few weeks ago. You see why I shouldn't be doing the job? It's got a pretty bad interface for how to approve stuff on it. And it's very slow to respond, so it's like click a button, and then you'll wait seriously like 15 seconds, and then everything will shift. But if you click 5 of them in that 15-second wait period, it's kind of a game. We've actually talked about playing the game of the heraldry approval. If you can click 5 of them in that 15-second period, then it'll adjust. Like you can get 5 of them done before you have to wait for that 15-second refresh thing. I was approving some, and I was playing the game of how many can I get, and I was pushing my luck. And right as I went to click one is when it did the refresh, and I clicked approve on a heraldry symbol that has Led Zeppelin written on it. And I saw it and saw the click approval like right as I was doing it in kind of the slow motion. We do have a way you can go through and see which ones have been approved, so I can go unapprove them. It's really tedious and slow, and I spent like 15 minutes on it and was just kind of in tears and said, I can't do it. I thought about going to our CloudFront data store place where we keep all that stuff and trying to track it down there. But even there, it's like now you're looking at like thousands of stuff. But anyways, it needs some love. But someone asked, I'm doing it right now. 1 second. You get a car. You get a car. I'm waiting for the thing to approve or to update. Waiting. I think that may be a Nazi symbol. I'm not going to approve that one, I don't think. I gotta hold on. I gotta Google something here. We're not getting anything done here. Oh, that's right. That's the Latin dude. We normally don't allow any copyrighted stuff. For those who don't know, one of the things we do is obviously I won't approve stuff that's like obviously copyrighted. If I'm not sure about something, I usually use the Google image search, which if you haven't used it, is pretty cool, where you can just drag an image in, and it'll see if it can find something similar to it and show you like similar matches, so you can track that stuff down. Let's see. These are good. If you guys could only see all the different heraldry stuff out there, I'm sure there's a lot that, they're in-game, but a lot haven't been seen. This one is a shamrock, a green shamrock on a black background with a black hammer with a chicken standing on top of it. Let's see, what could that mean? Is that like the cock hammer? Good luck. I was trying to figure out the dirty thing they're trying to sneak through, so. But I think I'll approve that. No letters, Atos. I know I'm not supposed to do it. I approve some if it feels like it's something kind of okay. The thing we absolutely don't allow is like, people putting like their names or like, here's the name of my guild in there. These were like Greek letter type stuff, so. I already clicked approve. Possible to find. Oh, yeah, let me find the guy that was asking about how long it takes, because he's probably waiting on his. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go approve these things. Rainbow Horse Poker Chip. Oh, almost got me again. Playing the game. Red Skull. Yeah, there are a few here that need to be approved. I'll see how many I can get through here. No, you can't have Pittsburgh as the name of your thing. You can't just have a big Pittsburgh P on it. Come on, guys. Well, I got technical reason. Yeah, you guys are getting a great stream here. Again, just testing things out to make sure things are working for this Friday. And also while I'm here answering questions. All right. Bam, 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 bam. 5 more approved. Playing the game. Wait for the slow refresh. Ooh, there's a fishing one here. That's a good one. I'm going to approve that. Bam, 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 bam. Is this good stream content? Are my numbers going up? Well, you guys aren't supposed to be seeing that page that I'm looking at. Hand-drawn kind of animation thing. Joshua Studio. No, you can't have that. No words or ads. I think the rest of these we can do that. Approve, approve, approve. Okay, I'm all caught up on heraldry. Thanks for your patience. If you're one of the people who's waiting on heraldry. Let's see. There's been some bad stuff submitted through the heraldry system, but not nearly as much as I thought. I don't think there's been anybody just trying to sneak through a cock and balls type image. Let's see. Can you make it so the specialization will show what it does to each skill? I thought it did. I'll go verify that it's doing that, but yeah, I thought it already did for some of them. There's just a lot of the things that I added for specialization are tough to show up in the skills. Make sure specialization stuff shows in numbers for skills. Bam. Hey, I got his. I was one of the people who was there asking about it. Yes, people do try and sneak in pictures from the D&D manual, which is pretty cool. But no, you can't do that. Oh, there's my stream locked up again. Silly stream. But we haven't been disconnected, which is good. Oh, actually, that happened when we zoned into player dungeons. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to a player dungeon yet. I'm going to go ahead and guess and say I'm not going to get to a player dungeon. See how far Bilbo can get. How many people actually just stop here and read the book? What do you think? Like 1%? Do, do, do. Yes, I need the too long didn't read version of that. let's see. Oracle, guide, ready to begin. And answer these as Bilbo Baggins would answer them. There are no wrong answers. That's good. Here we go. You're entrusted to bring to your liege an uncounted purse of gold. Though owning no coin of your own, yet along the way you meet a starving refugee. What would you do? Truthfully deliver the gold? No, I'd lovingly gift. It will not be missed. Bilbo Baggins would do it. Hard. What just happened? What is going on here? I gotta watch the stream and see what I did there. Hold on. Yeah, you see that? Right on the stream, I got proof. Seriously, if you're a new player and that happened, it's like, I'm out of here. We time out NPCs, but we expect you to read all that crap? Oracle timed out. WTF. On a live stream. So embarrassing. You know what? See, look, it's two-sided. List, why did we bother making this two-sided? Don't care about your health. Ready to begin. Let's try this again. Lovingly gift. Yeah, I'd let him yield. Bilbo wouldn't kill a guy. Courageously aid, of course. Path of love. Do. Ah! Door still pushes me in a stupid way. Ah, dodged it. Whole game there, opening a door without getting hit by it. Who are you? Gandalf. Since I'm trying to end the stream because I got to cook my family dinner, I'm going to use the Lunar Rift. No, I want to use the Lunar Rift. Seriously, get away, little girl. Bye, Anais. Woohoo! Yeah, Liz said she set her doors to push or to be non-colliding. We did do that for a while. I'm trying to remember what the reason we didn't leave it like that. We actually, that's another thing we're taking a serious pass at. Again, we're trying to hit all these things that are like, here's the exit event for players. And one of them is also the stuck spots. And if people probably noticed, if you stuck recently at least, so many uhs. The dialogue now, it pops up something you have to type in a message. And of course, some people just hit like random crap on the keyboard. But people have been typing in stuff, and a lot of them are the opened a door and it pushed me into a wall. So I remember there was some bug caused by the door not having collision when it opened, but I'm kind of doubting it's worse than the bugs that it causes. Remove door collision and opening. It does kind of feel cheesy though, because you can basically go up to door and run right through it if you remove the door collision. And that screen just keeps locking up on me over there. I will be taking the advice to go turn off all the acceleration stuff. In fact, I'm kind of at the end of this stream I'm going to do today because I have to go cook some dinner for family, because yes, I am the cook. I'm going to go try and change those settings. Any last questions? I'll look back over here and answer before I exit out. Just trying to find the setting for performance stuff. Stream, output. Yeah, I'm already on software encoder. I can try. I'm going to try switching it to AMD. Warnings recording on. Let's see if this will work. I'm going to try switching to hardware and do for a while here and see if it locks up on me or anything. Okay, so I just switched it. You guys tell me if I get a lock up here. I'll talk. I'll answer some more questions. Talk about crazy stuff. Oh, crossing the knees. What food are you making? Ooh, that's a good question. Last night I did super. I totally went all out. Frozen manicotti. I don't always cook good food. Tonight I will probably do something different. I'm trying to think what food's about to go bad on us. That's usually my determining factor. But might do one of Maxine's favorite is to do fish sticks. Got some healthy, like panko coated fish stick stuff that's pretty good. Doesn't have too much fat that she likes, although it's white fish and not a fatty fish. I'd rather get fatty fish, but do the fish sticks, and then I cook up a couple tortillas for each of us, and then queso and slice up vegetables because she likes to slice up vegetables. She likes to put raw spinach on her tacos, and then we just have like a taco night where we make fish tacos with fish sticks. I do actually do real cooking, in case you're wondering. Is it? You're still freezing. Okay, so that's not it. Yeah, that's tough. Let me look and see what my CPU did when I changed that and see if it's even worth changing it back. Well, the CPU, well, OBS just shot up to 30. Nope. Now it's back down to 11, 12%. So it didn't change at all, really, in terms of CPU use on OBS. So I'm not sure what is up with that. Because I told to use the hardware acceleration. That should have reduced the data or the CPU rate. Anyways, yeah, let's see if we get a long lockup. One of those like 4-second lockups I was seeing here a little while ago. I'll keep an eye on my stream a little bit. Aha, make port buy you a new computer. So I have I started the stream by showing that I have like 15 computers. There's actually more on the shelf over here that I have here already. I do not need a new computer. Oh, there's the lockup. Okay, so that is still locking up, I think. Yep, just happened. Boo! Okay, well, I'm going to have some more experimenting to do. That was a good tip somebody gave me. Unfortunately, that was not it, but that would have made total sense for it if it were the hardware being overloaded, the video card being overloaded. Because I do have a poop video card. But I will try flipping a few more switches, and you'll probably see me come on and do another one of these streams where I just spur of the moment jump in. So, all right, guys, let me check. Last second questions. Did block, good. Cooked spinach, yuck. Yeah, with no cooked spinach. Maxine doesn't like that. Ellen Moon, it's good plan, not the best computer. Yeah, I mean, I do. We really should have here's the stream computer and here's a not good computer, but I'm actually using the stream computer as everything. CPU affinity. So that might be a good one. I could force the OBS to its own CPU core and then turn off the game on that one. But again, it doesn't seem like it's not really CPU bound, I don't think. Sitting at like 10%. It's i7 with 4 cores. So, 12.5% would be full CPU on one CPU. And the CPU doesn't spike. It stays the same when it locks up, like it just did it right now. Now, it did drop down to 3% for no apparent reason. I did already, Liz, tech person out there, I did already take it and set OBS to be, to try and fix this earlier, I turned OBS to be real time in terms of thread priority, which is always a gamble because who knows what it's going to do to everything else, but that didn't do anything for it either. It just seems OBS says, hey, you know what, I'm going to stop doing anything. And actually, I'm going to wait one more time. I know it's a boring stream at this point if it wasn't through the whole thing. I'm going to wait one more time and see if it's the whole UI because I'm watching there's a volume meter down there so I can see myself talking. Okay, and so the volume meter keeps moving. It's purely the video side of things in the stream. So I may set up some new profiles here and set up a new streaming profile in this thing, see if I can fix it with that. Because OBS is not locking up. It's just the video stream and the stuff on top of it that is locking up. Yep, there it goes. All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining me in this the Ghetto stream here as I try to get things better for the Thursday or Friday live stream. Remember, Friday is the telethon. Again, telethon. As I said back in my day, we did 24-hour telethons and we drank the whole way through. And 12-hour telethons after that. Then I think after that we went to 4-hour telethons. And now we do 2-hour telethons? How is that even a telethon? But anyways, thank you so much for watching the stream, and glad I got to answer a ton of questions. For those who didn't get to watch live, there's a lot of actual content that is not me flipping switches earlier in the stream that you can go back and watch if you want to. I'm sure people will be quoting lots of it in the forums as reasons to set their house on fire and run for the hills. Here's one I'll throw out. This is an idea that came up yesterday. For those who managed to stay through the credits, it's kind of like the credits, like the very end part here, when you probably should have left long ago unless you're really hardcore and stay for the credits. But one of the things that was talked about, again, as we've mentioned, the thing we want to do is we want to get players in the game. Number one, we want to get players in the game. It makes the game better for everybody. Even if you want to play totally by yourself, never see anyone else, it makes the game better for you because more players in the game means we got more money, which I like that. But sadly, we don't just hand that out as bonuses to me and Starring Richard or anything. We hire new people with that, and we use it for cushioning for advertising. So it means advertising brings in more people. Again, if you want to play by yourself, you don't care. But it means we can hire more people, have better content. So that's the stuff you care about. Is more people in game turns into a mount for you at some point. More people in game turns into more house options for you, and better zones long term, and getting some more audio work done. So everybody should want more people in the game. But one of the things, and again, for those who stayed for the credits, here we go. One of the things that we talked about, let's see if List is panicking down there. He doesn't even know what I'm going to say. One of the things we talked about was changing up a few things, because one of the concerns is players get into the game. There's a lot of players, a lot of players are Ultimate players coming in, and they're coming in for the storyline. There's a lot of players who are coming in who are more Ultimate Online type players. They may not do the storyline at the start. They may never do the storyline. They want to get to the point where they can establish a home, start figuring things out, start crafting, doing that type of stuff quicker. So one of the things we're exploring changing, this could be for as early as R64, is, again, not final. This is just something we talked about as an idea that has stuck with me that I really liked that we could do in a release, is making it so when you get to the outskirts, not this scene, but the scene after the starter scene, the Battle of Souls Bridge or whatever, you get to the first outskirts scene, the guy, basically the first guy you go to who does the, oh, help me, I need help. That guy will offer you a choice. Do you want to start on the quest line now, or would you rather go establish a home as a citizen? We'll have some better dialogue than that. Sanyo's 10 times better at writing dialogue than that. And that would be he gives you the option right then. You can take, rather than starting the quest line then, because some people, again, don't care about it. And we're trying to de-emphasize the quest line early on because for a brand new player, even though some of it's cool, some of it is a turnoff because you hit a bug or something. So giving the players the option to instead go start their life as a citizen. The guy will teleport them to a random, find an open city or a random row pot lot, and will teleport the player directly to that lot. They'll appear in front of their own lot with the lot already claimed with the lot deed that they had, that they would be getting, and house already there, and it'll give them a quick tutorial on how to deco. Let me look over here. Let's see. I like it. Cool idea. Okay, good. Great. Everybody loves it. It's going to be perfect. But the thing that'll do is, for one, like pot owners, if you're looking to get people in your pot, you better go set up a set of row lots and set them to be open for anyone to claim. And because if we do this for the next release, again, one of the challenges with this is, oh my God, how many, we start advertising and we start doing that, like everybody's going to get a row lot. And of course, 2 weeks later, if it's somebody just played for a few minutes and quit or whatever, the lot's going to go away, or you can evict them or whatever if they haven't been logged in days if you're a pot owner. But it'll get pot owners away. They'll quickly be able to add people to their town that are new players to the game. And the pot owners and the pot residents can help them stick. And also, honestly, just having home ownership and having like, this is my lot. I see everybody else's lot around here. It's not, it's this is my lot. That's the type of stuff that's really powerful. When we looked at what things the game we do well in the game, as much as I hate it for a new player, that's one of the things that is the coolest thing in the game, is having, I got a lot, I got a house, I can deco my house. So anyways, that's one of the things that we're talking about that could happen as soon as R64. And for people out there with pot lots, you may want to redo things. And another thing that I was considering, if we do end up doing that, one of the things I'll probably do is reduce the cost of row lots in pots that it costs the pot owner, so that they can have some extra space, so they can put down extras for these guys, so they can attract more of these new citizens of the world. Anyways, the goal with that is increase player retention. If someone gets through the starting scene, and again, if you're an Ultima guy, obviously there's some concerns with stuff. Yeah, there'll be a ton of players like you come in and pick a lot and then don't never come back or whatever. There's also the problem with like, players could exploit or whatever and go claim a bunch of lot. Well, you still got to pay for them and still go away in 2 weeks. That is a pretty bored person if they're going to spend the time to do that. The deeds are still no trade, so it's not a big deal. You'd have to be pretty bored to actually spend the time to do that. And they do auto clear themselves out. Oh, except in the lots we don't evict them, but they'll get evicted because they haven't paid their rent. I see Gravity has just joined the stream right as I'm about to end it. Congratulations, Gravity42. You are the last person to enter the stream and speak. But anyways, that's one of the ideas we've had, and again, that is purely for the player retention. Get players in the game, get them to stick, show them the best parts first rather than showing them the buggiest parts first. Even though we're going to be, as I mentioned earlier and went over the details on it, we're going to be trying to clean up some of the buggy quest stuff. But the get players in game, get them a house, get them sticking around, get them trying out the deco system, feels like a better way to get players to stick in the game than having them start in outskirts and doing the quest stuff in outskirts. So, anyways, again, just in the discussion phase, but that I think we all believe that would be a better starting experience for some players. Many players just want to do the Ultima, just want to do the story. They're only here for the story. But for those who are here for more of an Ultima Online experience and not as interested in quest stuff, it'll give them the option to quick get to your quest lot. And adding a system so you can find open lots easier as new players, another thing we're looking at. So, All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it a day and call it a stream and go start dinner for my family. And not sure what we're going to do yet. Actually, I'm thinking now it might be sweet potatoes for Maxine and potato I've got leftover. I mentioned I try to use the leftovers and whatever junk is in the kitchen. I think I'm going to do baked potatoes for me and the wife. I can do them pretty quick, throwing them in the microwave and wrapping them in paper towels that are wet. And then sweet potatoes for the kiddo. And then I'm doing baked potatoes because we've got some leftover broccoli cheese soup that I love, like just taking that, pouring it on top of the baked potato, and then piling a little more cheese on top of that, some cheddar cheese on top of that. Super healthy, right? Right? Anyways, next stream, I will probably do one again maybe tomorrow to try and figure out, see if I fixed any of these problems. But if not that, I'll definitely do one on Thursday. Oh, wait. Holy crap, tomorrow is Thursday. I need to do one tomorrow then so I can figure out see if I can take a few stabs at the the freezing that's going on in this computer. Maybe uninstalling OBS or rebuilding some of this stuff from scratch. But anyways, I will do another stream tomorrow, and I'm going to try to give out some prizes tomorrow as well. I'll probably do them in game, so you'll need to give me your account, or not your account name, your player name when I do the prize name. I guess I also need to get some of these stream things set up. I always see all these guys with the little stream bot stuff. But anyways, I can do it the way we do it in other places where all you got to do is say something in game and you'll be in the prize list. Anyways, see you tomorrow for a stream, apparently. I don't think I'll make it this long. I'll probably play through the Battle of Solus Bridge and make bugs and answer questions. But see you guys tomorrow, and thanks for joining me on this stream. It was as good, and by that I mean as bad as I expected it would go. But I did not solve the one thing I was here to solve, which is that stupid hitching. So I'll be back again tomorrow. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for all the support, and thanks for watching the stream.